Many women spend their entire lives chasing, waiting, and wondering why the men they love eventually pull away. You might have been the one to send the first text, the one to apologize even when you weren't wrong, and the one to constantly remind him of your existence. You think you are being loving. You think you are being supportive. But in reality, you have been training him to take you for granted. Today, we are going to break that cycle, and we are going to do it by understanding something very simple. A man cannot miss you if you are always there. It is physically impossible. Missing someone is an emotional state triggered by the absence of that person's energy. It is a vacuum. When you occupy all the space in his life, all his time, all his attention, and all his emotional bandwidth, there is no room for him to feel the void. There is no room for the realization of what it is like to live without you. Most women fear that if they step back, he will forget them. The truth is actually the opposite. He can only truly see your value when he is forced to face the reality of your silence. Let's be honest about the dynamics at play. When a woman is constantly available, she becomes a reliable constant in a man's world. And what happens to things that are constant? They stop being perceived as prizes. They become background noise. You want to be the melody that haunts his thoughts, not the white noise of his daily routine. To make a man miss you to the point of deep reflection, you must first reclaim the one thing you have been giving away for free: your time and your emotional energy. You have been living under the illusion that doing more leads to receiving more. In the world of masculine and feminine energy, this is a trap. Masculine energy is about pursuit, purpose, and conquest. When you take away his need to pursue you, you inadvertently lower your own value in his eyes. He needs to feel that he is winning your time, that he is earning your attention. If it's handed to him on a silver platter, there is no psychological reward for him in the process. He feels no triumph, no challenge, and eventually, no excitement. So, how do we begin this shift? It starts with a total internal reset. You are not pulling away to be mean. You are pulling away to create space for him to realize the gravity of your absence. You are a woman of immense worth, a woman with a life, a purpose, and a soul that deserves to be celebrated. If he has been treating you like a second-tier priority, it is because you have allowed him to get comfortable in that position. But imagine for a moment that you suddenly become the most mysterious, vibrant, and unreachable version of yourself. You are still kind, you are still warm, but you are no longer accessible to his low-effort behavior. You are busy living a life that is so fulfilling that you don't even have time to notice if he has checked in or not. That is when his panic sets in. That is when he starts to question his position in your life. That is when the longing begins to grow. You have been so focused on making him happy that you forgot the most important rule of influence. A man values what he has to protect, and he misses what he realizes he cannot fully control. You are not a toy to be picked up and put down. You are a queen, and it is time you stopped acting like a servant to his convenience. Are you starting to feel the weight of this truth? Because this is the foundation upon which everything else is built. If you don't master this first step, nothing else I teach you will work. Now that we have established why your constant availability is killing his interest, we need to talk about the most uncomfortable part of this journey: the art of actually letting go. Many of you are listening to this and thinking, but if I stop responding, won't he just find someone else? This fear is exactly what keeps you trapped in the cycle of mediocrity. You are operating from a place of scarcity, believing that if you lose this specific man, you have lost your chance at happiness. That, my dear, is the biggest lie you have ever told yourself. When you truly understand your own value, you realize that your presence is a privilege, not a given right. Think about the most successful people you know. Do they beg for attention? Do they chase people who treat them like an option? Absolutely not. They operate with a quiet confidence that says, I am happy to have you in my life, but I am perfectly content without you. This is the frequency of a woman who is magnetic. It is not about playing hard to get. It is about being hard to get because you are actually busy building a life that you love. If you want a man to feel that hollow, aching sensation of missing you, you must stop being the one who initiates. And I don't just mean stop texting first. I mean stop reaching out in every form. No accidentally liking his photos. No checking if he watched your stories. No asking mutual friends how he is doing. When you remove your energy from his field of view, you create a silence. And in that silence, he will start to hear his own thoughts. He will start to wonder why the girl who was always there is suddenly gone. He will try to test the waters, perhaps with a late-night text or a random like, just to see if you are still waiting on the hook. If you respond immediately, you have failed the test. You have confirmed that he does not need to do any real work to have you back. But if you take your time, if you remain unbothered, if your life continues to move forward with or without his input, that is when his curiosity turns into obsession. This is where the transformation happens. You stop being the woman who waits for his validation and start being the woman who validates herself. When you are genuinely focused on your own goals, your own growth, and your own joy, you become unpredictable. And men are naturally wired to be fascinated by the unpredictable. They want to know what you are thinking, why you are smiling, and who is making you happy. By becoming your own best friend, you stop being a passenger in his life and start being the driver of your own. You need to understand that the goal isn't just to make him cry or to make him miss you. The goal is to return to your center. When you are centered, you are powerful. When you are needy, you are powerless. It is that simple. You have spent so much time trying to be the perfect woman for him that you have forgotten how to be the perfect woman for yourself. If he cannot appreciate you when you are at your best, he certainly doesn't deserve you when you are at your worst. So, what does this look like in practice? It looks like taking yourself out to dinner. It looks like investing in your hobbies. It looks like laughing until your stomach hurts with friends who truly cherish you. It looks like a life so full that there isn't room for a man who doesn't see your worth. This is not about revenge. This is about reclaiming your sovereignty. When you stand in your power, he will either rise to meet you, or he will fall away because he cannot handle the intensity of a woman who knows her own value. Which one do you think is better for you? This phase of your journey is about building the internal walls that protect your emotional well-being. It is about understanding that your happiness is not something that can be given to you by a man. It is something you cultivate from within. When you hold this truth, you are no longer fragile. You are a force of nature. And men are always drawn to the strength of a woman who doesn't need them, but who chooses them as an addition to her already spectacular life. Now, we have reached the part of the journey where things truly get intense. Up until now, we've talked about the internal work, the shifting of your energy, the reclaiming of your time, and the act of pulling back. But what happens when he starts to notice? What happens when the silence you've created becomes loud enough for him to hear? This is where many women panic and lose all the progress they've made. They get scared that they are pushing too hard, or they get anxious because they miss him, so they reach out to test the waters. Please, listen to me closely. Do not break your silence now. This is the phase of the emotional vacuum. When a man is used to you being a constant presence, your sudden absence creates a void in his daily life. He is looking for his usual fix of your attention, your validation, and your energy. When he doesn't find it, the psychological effect is immediate. He begins to project his own feelings onto you. He starts to wonder what is happening. Is she busy? Is she with someone else? Is she finally done with me? That mental space, those questions, is where he starts to build a fantasy about you. You see, a man doesn't fall in love with you when you are right in front of him telling him what to do, or begging for his time. He falls in love with the version of you that he creates in his own mind, when you are not there. He fills the space you left with his own desires. He begins to remember the good times, the laughter, and the way you made him feel. He starts to romanticize your absence. But this only happens if you are disciplined enough to stay in your own lane. If you jump back in now, you destroy the fantasy. You bring him back to the reality of a woman who is waiting. And let me be crystal clear. Waiting is not attractive. It is a sign of lack. A high-value woman, a woman who knows her worth, does not wait. She is too busy building her empire, nurturing her soul, and loving her life to notice if a man is taking his time to come around. This is the secret. It is not about pretending. It is about actually becoming that woman. When he finally does reach out, and he will, because he is a creature of habit, do not jump at the notification. Do not respond with a paragraph of how much you missed him. Stay cool. Stay detached. Keep your response short, polite, and neutral. Let him feel that the dynamic has shifted. You are no longer the one chasing. You are the one observing. If he wants to earn a place in your life, he is going to have to prove it. Many of you ask me, Priscilla, what if he never comes back? This is the fear that holds you back from your true power. If he doesn't come back because you stopped chasing him, then he was never there for you. He was there for the attention, the validation, and the convenience. And do you really want a man who only stays because you make it easy for him to stay? You deserve a man who chooses you because he recognizes your value, not because you were the easiest option available. By letting him go, you are actually testing him. You are seeing if he is capable of stepping up. If he isn't, you have saved yourself months, maybe years, of wasted time. And if he is, he will come back with a new level of respect and a new level of desire. The way you handle his return will define the future of the relationship. Will you be the woman who is just happy he is back? Or will you be the woman who requires more? Think of your life as a VIP event. Not everyone gets a ticket, and certainly not everyone gets a front row seat. You have spent too much time giving out free passes to people who didn't even know how to hold a conversation. It is time to start vetting. It is time to start requiring investment. When you make a man work for your time, he doesn't just miss you. He starts to fear losing you. And that fear, that beautiful, healthy fear of loss, is the strongest motivator a man has to commit. Are you starting to see the pattern? It is not about tricking him. It is about becoming so valuable that your absence is a weight he can no longer carry. It is about shifting the power balance so that he realizes your love is a treasure, not a commodity. We are building the foundation for a man who doesn't just want to be with you, but a man who is terrified of the idea of life without you. We have talked about the mechanics of absence, the discipline of self-focus, and the art of staying receptive when he finally realizes what he has been missing. But now, we arrive at the most critical part of this journey: consistency. It is easy to act powerful for a week or two, but can you maintain this energy for a lifetime? Can you become the woman who is so anchored in her own value that she no longer requires external validation to feel complete? This is where the real transformation happens, and this is where you become truly magnetic. Many women fall into the trap of thinking that once they get his attention back, the work is done. They slip back into old habits. They start texting too much. They start checking his location, and they start losing their mystery. And just like that, the cycle restarts. If you want a man to stay, you have to keep being the woman he fell for. You have to keep living your life with passion, purpose, and independence. Your life is not a preamble to his. Your life is the main event. When you live with this level of self-assurance, you aren't just making him miss you. You are training him to treat you with the highest level of respect. You are showing him that you are not a woman to be kept on the shelf, but a woman to be pursued, admired, and cherished every single day. This is the difference between a temporary spark and a lifelong flame. It is about setting the standard so high that he has to grow, change, and elevate himself just to keep up with you. If he chooses not to rise, if he chooses not to value the incredible woman you have become, then you have not lost anything. You have actually gained your freedom back. You have removed the dead weight that was holding you back from your true potential. Never fear losing a man who does not know how to love you. Fear losing yourself while trying to force a connection with someone who isn't ready for your level of light. I want you to look in the mirror today and acknowledge the woman you are becoming. She is strong, she is independent, and she is deeply, profoundly worthy of the love she desires. She doesn't need to chase, because she knows that what is meant for her will naturally gravitate toward her. She doesn't need to manipulate, because her authenticity is her greatest power. This is the woman that the Chosen One's Power Manual was written for. In my upcoming book, The Chosen One's Power Manual, I go even deeper into these principles. I break down the specific mindset shifts, the daily habits, and the psychological frameworks that will allow you to master your relationships and reclaim your divine feminine power. This is not just about making a man miss you. It is about becoming a woman who commands respect, inspires devotion, and lives a life of absolute sovereignty. It is about understanding the cosmic laws of attraction and how to use them to create the life and the love you truly deserve. If you have felt the shift in this video, if you have started to realize that your power has been within you all along, then you are ready for the next step. You are ready to stop settling for crumbs and start demanding the feast. You are ready to step out of the shadows of your own insecurities and into the spotlight of your own brilliance. The journey is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for choosing yourself. Your comments, your stories, and your growth are the reasons I do this. Let me know in the comments below. What is one way you are going to reclaim your time and your energy starting today? I want to hear about your progress, your breakthroughs, and the beautiful woman you are revealing to the world. And stay tuned, because there is so much more to come. You are not alone in this. We are in this together, rising, evolving, and stepping into our true power. Keep shining, keep growing, and never forget that you are the prize.